You know that sound concrete makes right before it cracks? That low grinding noise, like the earth shifting underneath your boots? I heard it the moment Isabella Martinez Morrison walked into our town hall meeting wearing that Silicon Valley smile and a business suit that probably cost more than most folks here make in a month. I'm Marcus Sullivan, 47 years old, and I'd been managing infrastructure projects in Texas for 16 years. Started right after my Marine discharge, worked my way up from site supervisor to senior infrastructure director at Lone Star Energy Solutions. My hard hat's got more scratches than a desert highway, but every one of those marks represents a project completed on time and under budget. The meeting was supposed to be routine. Community presentation about our $4.8 billion renewable energy grid project, biggest infrastructure development in South Texas history. Wind farms, solar arrays, transmission lines stretching from Corpus Christi to San Antonio. My project. My baby, Isabella, stood at the front of that packed high school auditorium like she owned the place. 25 years old, Stanford MBA, and the brand new VP of Strategic Development. Also happened to be CEO Luke Morrison's stepdaughter, though nobody was supposed to mention that part out loud. I was sitting in the back with my usual crew. Troy Mitchell, our head of security, former MP who'd served 2 tours with me in Fallujah. Jordan Washington, my project assistant, sharp as a tack and loyal as they come, good people, the kind you want in your foxhole when things get complicated. Isabella clicked her remote, and the first slide appeared, Legacy Infrastructure Challenges. My stomach dropped like a faulty elevator. Ladies and gentlemen, she announced, voice echoing off gymnasium walls, we're entering a new era of infrastructure development, AI-driven site analysis, automated environmental compliance, drone-based surveying technology that eliminates human error. Human error. I adjusted my safety glasses, that old habit kicking in when stress levels started spiking. 16 years of successful projects, and this kid was calling it human error. She clicked again. Traditional methods, frankly, are not just outdated, they're dangerous. Manual surveying techniques, paper-based environmental assessments, analog measurement systems. These approaches put worker safety at risk and expose our company to massive liability. The room was getting quieter. Folks started looking around, sensing something was off. Maria Santos, who ran the local diner, caught my eye with a worried expression. Her husband Carlos worked construction for us, had 3 kids and a mortgage. Which brings me to personnel restructuring, Isabella continued. Effective immediately, we're implementing modern management protocols. She looked straight at me. That moment, I knew what was coming. Marcus Sullivan has been with our company for many years. Unfortunately, his analog methods and resistance to technological adaptation make him unsuitable for this project's requirements. The auditorium went dead silent. You could hear the air conditioning cycling on. Marcus, your employment is terminated. Security will escort you out. The words hit like sniper fire. Clean, precise, devastating in front of 200 people from my community. Folks I coached Little League with, served on the volunteer fire department board with, people who trusted me to keep their lights on and their kids employed. Troy started to stand up, face red as a stop sign. I put my hand on his shoulder. Easy, brother. Isabella was still talking, something about bringing in consultation teams from California, but I wasn't listening anymore. I was calculating load-bearing capacity the way engineers do when structures start failing. How much weight could this situation handle before everything collapsed? I stood up slowly, picked up my project folder, and walked down that center aisle. Every step echoed like a hammer on steel. When I reached the front, Isabella actually smiled at me, thought she'd just won something. Good luck with those EPA watershed assessments, I said quietly. Hope your consultants know about the Edwards Aquifer Protection Zones. Her smile flickered. She had no idea what I was talking about. I walked out of that auditorium with 16 years of institutional knowledge tucked under my arm. Knowledge that wasn't stored on any company server or in any digital database. Knowledge about soil composition, water table depths, seasonal flooding patterns, and exactly which pieces of land were sacred to the local Tonkawa tribe. Most importantly, knowledge about why certain environmental surveys had to be done by hand, in person, by someone who understood the difference between what looked good on a computer screen and what actually worked in South Texas dirt. My truck was parked under the same oak tree, where I'd waited for Emma after every high school football game. Emma, my 17-year-old daughter who was counting on me to help pay for her engineering program at UT Austin. The same daughter who just watched her father get publicly humiliated by someone young enough to be her sister. I sat there for a while, engine running, AC blasting, thinking about foundation stability. When concrete starts cracking, you don't rush to fix it. You assess the damage first, figure out what caused the failure, then you plan your repair strategy. My phone buzzed. Text from Colonel Thomas Rodriguez. Tank, as everybody called him, former Army Corps of Engineers, now ran the biggest military contracting firm in Texas. We'd served together in Iraq, back when Isabella was probably learning long division. Heard what happened, coffee tomorrow, 0700, got a proposition. I drove home to find Emma sitting at the kitchen table with her calculus homework spread out like battle plans. She looked up when I walked in, those green eyes so much like her mother's that it still caught me off guard sometimes. Dad, how did the meeting go? I set my project folder on the counter, took off my glasses and cleaned them slowly. It went different than expected. She wasn't buying the deflection. Maria Santos called Mom's sister. Said Isabella fired you in front of everybody. Emma had inherited more than Sarah's eyes. She had her mother's ability to cut straight through nonsense and get to the truth. No point trying to sugarcoat this one. That's right, I'm unemployed as of today. I expected tears, panic, maybe anger about college tuition. Instead, Emma closed her textbook and looked at me with the same steady gaze I'd seen Sarah use when we were facing down deployment separations or difficult decisions. So what are we going to do about it? We. Not you. We. First thing, I'm having coffee with Tank Rodriguez in the morning. See what he's got in mind, the contractor guy. Mom always said he was smart. Your mother had good judgment about people. Emma nodded, already working the problem in her head. Dad, that Isabella girl doesn't know anything about actual construction. Does she? I looked at my daughter, really looked at her. 17 years old, already thinking like an engineer, already understanding that knowledge and competence weren't the same thing as credentials and attitude. No, Emma. She doesn't. Then she's going to mess up the project, probably. And when she does, someone else is going to have to fix it. I felt something shift in my chest, like tumblers falling into place in a lock. That's a distinct possibility. Emma smiled, and for a second I saw Sarah again, saw the woman who'd married a marine engineer because she believed in building things that lasted. Good. I've got calculus to finish, and you've got planning to do. Next morning, Tank was waiting at Rosa's Cafe, same booth we'd used for business meetings since 2009. He looked like what Central Casting would order if they needed someone to play tough Texas colonel. Silver crew cut, weathered face, hands that had built bridges under enemy fire. Kid screwed up, Tank said, stirring his coffee with a spoon that had seen better decades. Firing you like that in public shows poor judgment. I nodded. Shows she doesn't understand the project. Exactly what I was thinking. Tank leaned forward. Marcus, you know I've been eyeing that renewable energy sector. Got the capital, got the connections, just need the expertise. He slid a business card across the table. Rodriguez Engineering Solutions. Partnership offer 60-40 split. Your favor. You bring the technical know-how. I bring the financing and the political muscle. I picked up the card, felt its weight. Good card stock. Professional printing. Real deal. What's the play, Tank? Same project. We bid against them. His grin was pure predator. Use your local knowledge. My federal connections. Show these California consultants what Texas engineering looks like. They've got a head start. Contracts already awarded. Contracts can be challenged, especially when environmental assessments turn out to be faulty. Tank's eyes got that look I remembered from mission briefings. You still got those watershed studies? I did. Personal copies of every environmental survey I'd conducted over the past 2 years. Legally mine, since I'd done the field work on my own time, using my own equipment. Digital copies were company property. Handwritten field notes, soil samples, and photographic documentation belonged to the guy who'd collected them. Isabella's people are going to rely on satellite imagery and computer modeling, I said, thinking out loud. Problem is, you can't see underground aquifer channels from space. And you can, I know where every water table sits between here and San Antonio. Know which land floods every spring, which soil can't support heavy equipment, and exactly where the protected wetlands start. I adjusted my glasses again. More importantly, I know which tribal lands have federal protection status that's not in any public database. Tank's grin got wider. How long before they figure that out? 3 months, maybe 4 if they're really lucky. And how long to get our bid submitted? 2 weeks, outstanding. Tank raised his coffee mug like he was proposing a toast to proper engineering. I spent the next 10 days working 16-hour shifts in my garage, converting 16 years of field experience into a comprehensive project proposal. Emma would bring me sandwiches and coffee, working on her calculus homework at my drafting table while I calculated load distributions and environmental impact projections. The work felt different this time. Not just technical specifications and regulatory compliance, but something bigger. A chance to prove that experience mattered, that local knowledge couldn't be replaced by algorithms and attitude. "Dad," Emma said one evening, looking up from her textbook, "you really think you can beat them?" I looked at my daughter. Smart as her mother had been, with the same engineering mind and stubborn streak that had made Sarah such a good partner. Emma deserved her shot at college. Deserved better than watching her father get pushed around by entitled kids with fancy degrees and no practical experience. "Emma, there's something you need to understand about foundations," I said. "Doesn't matter how pretty the building looks on top if the ground underneath isn't solid." And their ground isn't solid. Their ground's about as stable as a house of cards in a tornado. 2 weeks later, Tank and I submitted our competing bid for the Renewable Energy Grid project. Same day, he filed a formal challenge to the original contract award, citing incomplete environmental assessments and failure to comply with federal tribal land consultation requirements. The challenge worked. Project got suspended pending environmental review. Isabella's team scrambled. Brought in consultants from San Francisco, Seattle, Austin. Engineers with impressive resumes and zero local knowledge. They spent $300,000 on aerial surveys, ground-penetrating radar, and soil analysis equipment. Problem was, they were looking in the wrong places. I'd strategically omitted certain details from my original company reports. Nothing illegal, just incomplete. Didn't mention the seasonal creek that only flows during spring floods. Didn't note the underground limestone caverns that make certain areas unsuitable for heavy foundation work. Didn't include information about the Tonkawa burial grounds that require federal consultation before any ground disturbance. Their consultants found most of it eventually, but by then they'd already committed to infrastructure placement based on faulty assumptions. Redesigning meant starting over. Starting over meant blowing past their deadline and budget. Meanwhile, Tank and I were moving fast. We had community support, tribal consultation completed through Tank's federal contacts, and environmental assessments that actually matched reality instead of computer projections. Jordan Washington kept me updated on the chaos at Lone Star Energy. Poor kid was stuck in the middle, watching Isabella's project management skills crumble under pressure. She's working 18-hour days, Jordan told me over coffee at Rose's. Yelling at consultants, blaming everyone else for problems she created. The environmental team from California quit last week, said she was impossible to work with. How's the timeline looking? 4 months behind and counting. Luke Morrison's getting calls from investors asking hard questions. I felt something I hadn't experienced since Fallujah. That cold satisfaction you get when a careful plan starts working exactly the way you designed it. The breaking point came during a county commissioners' meeting in November. Isabella stood up to explain why her project was running 6 months behind schedule and $400 million over budget. She looked tired, stressed. That Silicon Valley confidence had evaporated like morning dew. Unforeseen environmental complications, she said, voice cracking slightly. Legacy survey data was incomplete. Commissioner Martinez, whose family had ranched this land for 5 generations, raised his hand. "Ma'am, respectfully, Marcus Sullivan's been telling us about those limestone caves for 15 years. Everybody local knows about the spring flooding issue." Isabella's face went red. She looked around the room, searching for support that wasn't there. These were practical people who respected results over presentations, experience over credentials. The previous infrastructure director failed to document critical environmental factors, she said, desperation creeping in. "Previous infrastructure director is sitting right there," Commissioner Martinez replied, pointing at me. "Maybe you should ask him." All eyes turned my way. I stood up slowly, adjusted my glasses one more time. "Happy to help," I said. "But I'm working for Rodriguez Engineering Solutions now. We've got a competing proposal that addresses all those environmental issues." The room erupted, not angry shouting, just excited conversation. People who'd been worried about their jobs, their community's future, suddenly seeing a path forward. Isabella tried to regain control. "Our company has significant resources invested in this project. We can resolve these setbacks." "With respect, ma'am," said Commissioner Martinez, "your company had 16 years of Marcus Sullivan's expertise and threw it away in front of half the town. Why should we trust you to fix problems you created?" Tank stood up then, all 6 feet 4 inches of him, looking like the career military officer he'd been. Commissioners, Rodriguez Engineering Solutions is prepared to complete this project on the original timeline and budget using local expertise and federal environmental compliance protocols. What about the workers? Maria Santos called out. Carlos and the other guys who got laid off when the project stalled. First priority, I said. Local hiring for local projects. The vote was unanimous. Rodriguez Engineering Solutions got the contract. Isabella sat in the back row afterward, staring at her phone, probably calling her stepfather to explain how she'd lost a $4.8 billion project to the guy she'd fired 6 months earlier. I walked over to her before leaving. She looked up, and for the first time since that town hall meeting, I saw something other than arrogance in her eyes. Marcus, she said quietly, I want to apologize. I was wrong. I looked at her for a long moment. Isabella, you weren't wrong about needing innovation. You were wrong about throwing away experience, she nodded. Any chance you'd consider hiring me? I could learn from someone who actually knows how to build things. I adjusted my glasses, thinking about load-bearing capacity, about second chances and structural integrity, about the difference between looking good on paper and actually holding weight. We'll see, I said, but if you come work for us, you start at the bottom. Hard hat. Steel-toed boots, learning how dirt actually behaves instead of how computers think it should behave. Yes, sir. 6 months later, Rodriguez Engineering Solutions was awarded the Renewable Energy Grid contract, $4.8 billion project managed by local expertise with federal backing. Isabella's company lost the bid, lost credibility, and lost their main investor when the failed project hit the news. The real satisfaction came from watching our crew break ground on the first wind farm site. Carlos Santos was back to work, along with 200 other local guys who'd been laid off during Isabella's management disaster. These weren't just employees to me. These were neighbors, people whose kids played Little League with Emma, folks who understood that building something right meant doing it with your hands, not just your computer. Tank and I stood on a ridge overlooking the construction site, watching the foundation crews work. The concrete trucks were lined up like soldiers, ready to pour the base for the first turbine. Everything measured twice, surveyed by hand, checked against soil composition reports I'd been collecting for 16 years. Marcus, Tank said, pointing toward the access road, we've got visitors. A black sedan was pulling up to the job site trailer. Luke Morrison got out first, followed by Isabella. She was dressed differently now. Work boots, jeans, safety vest. Her hair was pulled back under a hard hat that actually looked like it had been used. Permission to come aboard? Morrison called out as they approached. I nodded to Tank. Your call, partner. Come on up, Tank said. But watch your step. This is a working site. Morrison looked older than I remembered. The stress of losing a multi-billion-dollar contract had put some gray in his hair and lines around his eyes. Marcus, Tank, I want to apologize for everything. The way Isabella handled your termination was unprofessional and wrong. Apology accepted, I said, but that's between us. The real question is what you want now. Isabella stepped forward. I've been working construction for the past 4 months. Started as a general laborer for a Houston contractor. 12-hour days, learning how things actually get built. She showed me her hands, calloused, scarred from tool work, nails broken short. These weren't the manicured hands of a Stanford MBA anymore. I understand if you don't trust me, Isabella continued, but I want to learn, really learn. Not from a textbook or a consulting report, but from someone who's actually done this work. Emma had driven out to the site after school, wanting to see the progress on what she'd started calling Dad's project. She walked up just as Isabella finished talking. Backpack slung over her shoulder, engineering textbooks visible through the mesh pocket. You're the girl who fired my dad, Emma said. Not hostile, just stating facts. Isabella nodded. I am, and it was the biggest mistake of my professional life. Emma looked her up and down, taking in the work clothes, the calloused hands, the humble posture. My daughter had inherited her mother's ability to read people, to see past surface presentations to what was really underneath. You willing to start at the bottom? Emma asked. Yes. Take orders from people who know more than you? Yes. Emma looked at me. Dad, she's going to need steel-toed boots. Those look like hiking boots. I had to smile. My 17-year-old daughter was conducting the job interview. Isabella, I said, if you're serious about this, here's how it works. You start as a junior site engineer, same pay scale as any other entry-level hire. You follow safety protocols. You listen more than you talk, and you learn that good engineering starts with understanding the ground you're building on. I accept. Tank cleared his throat. One condition: you explain to your stepfather exactly why his company lost this contract. Not market conditions, not unforeseen complications. You tell him it was management failure? Isabella looked at Morrison, who nodded grimly, already done. Board meeting last week, full accountability. Good, Tank said. Because if we're going to work together, we need honesty. Real honesty, not corporate spin. Emma pulled out her phone and showed Isabella a photo. This is my acceptance letter to UT Austin Engineering Program. Full scholarship, thanks to the Rodriguez Foundation. Isabella studied the photo. That's really impressive. What kind of engineering infrastructure? Like my dad? Someone's got to build the next generation of power grids, bridges, water systems. Might as well be someone who understands how things actually work. I watched Isabella process this. The girl she'd humiliated publicly now had a daughter heading to college on a scholarship funded by the very project Isabella had lost. The circle was complete. Congratulations, Isabella said to Emma. Your dad should be proud. He is, Emma replied. And now he's got a chance to train the next generation of engineers. People who understand that technology is just a tool. The real work still gets done by people who know how dirt behaves and why concrete cracks. The sun was setting over the construction site, painting the sky orange and red. The foundation for the first turbine was cured and solid. Tomorrow we'd start raising the tower, piece by piece, built on ground we understood, by people who'd earned their knowledge through experience. Isabella spent her first day mixing concrete and learning how to read soil density reports. Emma started her freshman year with a clear understanding that success comes from competence, not connections. Tank and I built the largest renewable energy grid in Texas history, on time and under budget. Sometimes the best foundation repair starts with admitting the original structure was built wrong. And sometimes, if you're lucky, you get to build something better with the pieces that are left. Foundation solid now should hold for generations. In business, your knowledge walks out the door with you, but only if you're smart enough to take it and wise enough to use it right. They'll call you outdated right up until the moment they realize you were the foundation holding everything together.